Cassandra Webb spent 3 months planning their escape, memorizing guard rotations, calculating fuel requirements, quietly liquidating assets that wouldn't be immediately noticed. She hadn't expected to become a fugitive when she'd accepted the position as Princess Serath's personal advisor 2 years ago, but she also hadn't expected to fall in love. Serath was next in line to the Valthine throne, groomed since childhood to lead with strategic precision rather than personal desire. Their relationship had begun as professional respect, evolved into genuine friendship, and crossed into something deeper during late-night strategy sessions when Serath could briefly stop being a princess. The turning point came when Queen Nithara announced Serath's bonding to Lord Kithrin, a political alliance scheduled for 3 weeks with no room for negotiation. Cassandra watched Serath receive the news with perfect royal composure. Only afterward, in Cassandra's quarters where surveillance conveniently malfunctioned, did the mask crack. "I can't do this," Serath whispered. 30 years of duty, and now they want me to bond with someone I barely know for political advantage I didn't ask for. "Then don't," Cassandra said, surprising both of them. "Choose something else." "There is nothing else. I'm heir to the throne. What choice do I have?" Cassandra took her hand, feeling the warmth of Valthine physiology, the slight tremor betraying emotion. "You could run with me. We could leave tonight, disappear somewhere they can't find us." The idea hung between them, impossible, reckless, exactly what Serath had never allowed herself to want. "They would hunt us. My mother would never stop searching." "Then we make sure they can't find us." Cassandra pulled up plans she'd been developing for weeks, routes through unmonitored space, contacts who didn't ask questions, identities that could withstand scrutiny. "I've been preparing since the bonding announcement, just in case you wanted out." Serath stared at the escape plans, at evidence that someone believed her happiness mattered enough to risk everything. "You would do this? Abandon your career, your life, become a fugitive for me?" "I would do considerably more than that for you," Cassandra said quietly. "But only if it's what you want. That decision is yours." Serath was silent, royal training warring with desperate desire for freedom. Then she looked at Cassandra with pure determination. "When do we leave?" They left during the shift change at 300 station time, when guard attention was lowest and automated systems were easiest to spoof. Cassandra had arranged transport under false credentials, routing them through 3 different stations before their actual destination. By the time palace security realized Princess Serath was missing, they were already 2 jump points away. The first week was constant motion, changing ships, altering appearances, staying ahead of the search net spreading behind them. Serath cut her hair, abandoned the formal styling that marked Valthine nobility, traded royal composure for nervous energy of someone learning to make decisions without advisors. Cassandra watched her transform, shedding layers of royal conditioning like uncomfortable clothing finally removed. "I've never chosen my own food before," Serath admitted on their 4th day, staring at a station cantina menu with genuine bewilderment. "Palace meals were nutritionally optimized. This is overwhelming." "Start with something that looks good," Cassandra suggested, amused and sad simultaneously. "No wrong answers." Serath ordered at random, tasted cautiously, made a face that would have scandalized her etiquette tutors. "This is terrible." "Then we've learned you don't like Terran fusion cuisine." Progress. Cassandra watched Serath experiment with flavors she'd never been allowed to try, laughed when Serath discovered strong opinions about seasoning with no vocabulary beyond, more of that, and never again. Small moments accumulated, Serath choosing her own clothes, deciding when to sleep without schedules, having conversations not monitored for political implications. She made mistakes constantly, struggled with choices that seemed simple, occasionally looked panicked when faced with freedom she'd never been trained to navigate. But underneath the awkwardness was joy. Real, unguarded joy Cassandra had never seen during Serath's time as princess. "Do you regret it?" Cassandra asked one night in cramped quarters on a freight transport, leaving everything behind. Serath considered seriously. I regret the pain I've caused my mother. I regret the political complications. I regret that my brother will now bear succession burden he never wanted. She took Cassandra's hand. But I don't regret choosing you. I don't regret choosing myself. For the first time, I'm making my own decisions. That's worth the cost. Even if we spend the rest of our lives running. Even then, Serath's expression held certainty royal training had never created. Because I'd rather run with you than rule without you. They'd been hidden on agricultural colony Tessera IV for 6 weeks when Queen Nithara found them. Cassandra had thought they'd been careful, new identities, minimal contact, staying in a settlement small enough to be overlooked. But she'd underestimated a mother's determination and a queen's resources. Nithara arrived with minimal security, which made it more intimidating than a full procession. She entered the small dwelling, her presence making the modest space feel smaller. "Mother," Serath said, voice steady despite shock. "Your Majesty," Cassandra added, uncertain what protocol applied. Nithara ignored Cassandra, focusing on Serath with cold intensity. 6 weeks. 6 weeks of searching, damage control, explaining why the heir vanished 3 days before a bonding ceremony that would have secured our position for generations. "I'm sorry for the political complications," Serath said, "but I'm not sorry for leaving. You abandoned your duty, your people, your family. For what? For her?" Nithara's gaze shifted to Cassandra with dismissive contempt. A human advisor with no standing, nothing to offer except distraction from responsibilities. "She offered me a choice," Serath replied, "something no one else, including you, ever provided." "Joyce." Nithara's voice could flash-freeze atmosphere. "You are heir to the throne. Your choices affect millions. You don't get to prioritize personal desire over political necessity." "Why not?" The question genuinely confused Nithara. "Because that's not how leadership works. Because duty matters more than individual happiness." "Because that's what you accepted," Serath interrupted. "You made your sacrifices, followed duty, bonded politically, ruled effectively. And you were miserable. I watched you my entire childhood, Mother. I saw what choosing duty over desire cost you." Nithara's composure cracked slightly. "My personal satisfaction is irrelevant compared to the stability I maintained." "Is it? Or did you convince yourself sacrifice was virtue because accepting anything else would mean admitting you'd wasted your life on obligations that made you a good queen but a deeply unhappy person?" The accusation hung in the small room, 3 decades of unspoken truth finally voiced. Cassandra stayed silent, recognizing this wasn't her confrontation. Nithara was quiet for a long time, composure struggling against maternal emotion. When she spoke, her voice was softer than Cassandra had ever heard. "What you saw as misery was acceptance, maturity, understanding that personal desire is small compared to our people's welfare." "Or it was resignation," Serath countered. "Convincing yourself unhappiness was noble because the alternative was admitting you'd been given a raw deal. And what are you fighting for? The right to hide on colonies, to run from responsibilities you were trained for, to throw away your education, your position, for what?" Nithara gestured at their modest surroundings. "This. For the chance to make my own life," Serath said quietly. "For the ability to choose who I love without political calculation. For freedom to be Serath instead of Princess Serath, strategic asset." She took Cassandra's hand openly. "And yes, for her. Because Cassandra sees me as a person, not a political tool." Nithara looked at their joined hands. "You love her?" "Yes. Enough to abandon the throne. Enough to let your brother inherit unprepared. Enough to watch from hiding while the realm struggles." "Yes," Serath's voice didn't waver. "I know the costs, Mother, I accept them." "And you?" Nithara addressed Cassandra directly. "You're willing to spend your life running, to be the reason the princess abandoned her people." Cassandra met the queen's gaze. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to protect Serath's right to choose her own life. If that means running, we run. But I won't apologize for giving her the option everyone else denied. Nithara studied them both. Something in her expression shifted. I could force you to return. Royal guards are waiting. I could invoke succession law, strip your titles, force compliance. You could, Serath agreed. But you won't, because you know I'd fight it. Make it public, messy, exactly the scandal you've avoided your entire reign. And because, her voice softened, somewhere under the Queen, my mother still exists, and she wouldn't force her daughter into the same miserable compliance she accepted. Nithara's composure finally broke. I wanted better for you than I had. I know, but your version of better still involved sacrificing personal happiness for political advantage. I'm choosing a different definition. Nithara was silent. Then, your brother will need support, preparation. The transition will be difficult. Are you saying? I'm saying you've made your choice clear. I cannot support it. I cannot approve. But I also cannot force you to return to a life that makes you as miserable as, she stopped. As miserable as mine made me. The admission cost her everything. But understand, if you choose this, there's no returning. The throne passes to your brother, your titles, your position, everything gone. I understand. And you still choose this. Choose her. Serath looked at Cassandra, then her mother. Every time, in every version of this conversation, I choose freedom. I choose love. I choose possibility of happiness over certainty of duty. Nithara nodded slowly. Then this is goodbye. The official story will be health reasons. It's the kindest version I can manage. She moved toward the door, paused. Be happy, Serath. Make this choice worth what it cost. I will, mother. And you, Nithara looked at Cassandra, protect her. From consequences, from judgment, from ever regretting what she's given up. With my life, Cassandra promised. Nithara left, her security following. Through the window, they watched the royal transport lift off, carrying away everything Serath had been. Are you okay? Cassandra asked quietly. Serath leaned into her. I'm free, truly free. For the first time, I'm not the heir, not the princess, not the strategic asset. I'm just Serath, your wife if you'll have me. I thought we were already married. In every way.